If you turn on the national news or talk to any commission-driven real estate agent in Texas today, they will all tell you the exact same story. They will look you right in the eye, point to the positive job reports, and tell you that Texas is booming. They will say there is a housing shortage, that out-of-state buyers are still flooding in, and that if you do not buy a house right now at full asking price, you are going to miss out forever. They are selling you a billboard. They are selling you an illusion. Today, we are going to look at the raw data that the national headlines and the local real estate brokers are desperately trying to hide from you. Because right behind their smiling faces and glossy brochures is a terrifying reality for sellers and a once-in-a-decade opportunity for you. We are not going to make predictions on this channel. We do data. And the data from the Texas Real Estate Research Center is flashing bright red. Active housing listings in Texas just hit 123,000. That is 53% higher than normal. Texas is now officially the fourth most oversupplied housing market in the entire United States. Sellers are panicking. Builders are bleeding cash. And thousands of buyers who listened to their real estate agents and paid top dollar in 2021 and 2022 are now sitting in their living rooms, dealing with the paralyzing stress of watching their life savings and their home equity evaporate in real time. But this video is not just a warning. This is a weapon. If you have cash, if you have patience, and if you understand how to read the fear in the market, 2026 is the year you take control. Today, I am giving you the exact, step-by-step 2026 playbook on how to buy a Texas home for 20% under the asking price. I am going to show you exactly which cities have the most desperate sellers, how to identify panicking builders, and the exact psychological scripts you need to use in the negotiation room. It is time to stop being the prey in the Texas real estate market and start being the predator. Close Zillow, grab a notepad, and let us get into the masterclass. Chapter 1, Understanding the Massive Supply Trap. To get 20% off a house, you first have to understand why the seller is willing to lose that much money. People do not give away $100,000 in equity because they are generous. They give it away because they are trapped. During the pandemic boom, the Texas housing market lost its mind. Tech workers from San Francisco and Seattle flooded into Austin and Dallas with Bay Area salaries. Speculators bought up dirt in small towns, assuming the growth would never stop. Builders poured concrete as fast as they physically could, ignoring all historical demand metrics, but then, the math violently turned against them. Interest rates climbed past 6%. Tech companies started massive layoffs. Return-to-office mandates forced remote workers to abandon their Texas suburban dreams and fly back to the coast. Now, we have a catastrophic imbalance of supply and demand. Let me give you the hardest data point in the state, Austin, Texas. The capital of the state, the tech hub of the South. From the pandemic peak to today, Austin home prices have collapsed by a staggering 20.4%. $1 in $5 of home value has completely vanished. If you bought a $500,000 home in Austin at the peak, you have lost over $100,000 in equity. Just gone. Right now, 45% of all real estate listings in Austin have price cuts. Nearly half the market is actively slashing prices to find a buyer, and it is not just Austin. In San Antonio, homes are sitting on the market for an average of 83 days. That is the longest days on market metric of any major metro in the entire country. San Antonio is where homes go to sit and where sellers go to sweat. This is your leverage. When a market is oversupplied by 53%, the listing price you see online is completely irrelevant. It is a work of fiction. It is a number based on the seller's emotional attachment to what their house was worth 2 years ago. Your job is to ignore their emotion and exploit their timeline. Chapter 2, Exploiting the Panicking Builders. If you want a massive discount, your primary target in 2026 should not be a traditional homeowner. Your primary target is the corporate home builder. A family trying to sell their house has an ego. They will refuse to sell at a loss because they feel insulted. A massive national home builder has no ego. They have a balance sheet, they have shareholders, and they are absolutely terrified of carrying costs. Across the outer rings of the Texas suburbs, builders are sitting on entire neighborhoods of completely empty homes. In Manor, just east of Austin, subdivisions that were built for the tech boom are sitting silent. In Cypress, northwest of Houston, the remote work tech dream met the return-to-office memo, leaving rows of new homes with zero buyers. In Magnolia, a luxury market north of Houston, builders pushed high-end master plan communities into the piney woods, and now the luxury buyer pool has completely dried up. When a builder finishes a home and it sits empty, they bleed cash every single day. They pay property taxes, they pay insurance, they pay maintenance, and they pay interest on their construction loans. They are desperate to get that liability off their books. So, how do you get 20% off new construction? You do not ask for a price cut first. You attack the incentives. When you walk into a sales office in a place like Princeton or Anna north of Dallas, do not act amazed by the model home. Do not accept the cold bottle of water and let the sales rep control the conversation. You walk in, you look the sales rep in the eye, and you say, "I drove through phase 3. I see you have 14 finished, empty homes with lockboxes on the doors. What is your aging inventory incentive package?" Right now, builders in these oversupplied Texas towns are secretly offering massive concessions. We are seeing rate buydowns into the low 5% range. We are seeing $20,000 to $30,000 in closing cost credits. We are seeing free luxury upgrade packages and free solar panels. You take all of those incentives, which easily add up to 10% of the home's value, and then you demand a base price reduction. You tell them, "I will sign the contract today, taking this aging inventory off your books if you drop the base price by another 10%. They will say no. Their manager will say no. You walk out to your car. I guarantee you, 80% of the time, your phone will ring before you leave the neighborhood. They need you more than you need them. Chapter 3, Crushing the Speculators. Your second target in the 2026 playbook is the failed speculator. During the boom, amateur investors and out-of-state flippers poured into Texas. They watched a few YouTube videos, bought a house they had never seen in person, and assumed they could rent it out or flip it for a massive profit. Today, those speculators are drowning. The greatest example of this in Texas right now is Taylor and Hutto, sitting northeast of Austin. In 2021, Samsung announced a massive $17 billion semiconductor facility in Taylor. The announcement was like jet fuel. Speculators flooded the zone, buying up land and homes, expecting thousands of high-paying tech jobs to arrive overnight. Builders broke ground on massive master plan communities. Then, reality hit. Samsung announced production delays. They scaled back hiring. The timeline stretched for years. But the homes were already built. Today, in Taylor, entire completed blocks of brand new homes sit with builder signs on the driveways, completely vacant. The speculators who bought existing homes are bleeding out from high interest rates and climbing property taxes. To exploit this, you look forward to days on market and price history on Zillow or Redfin. You are looking for a house that has been listed for over 90 days. You are looking for a house that was purchased in 2021 or 2022 and is now back on the market. That is a speculator who is giving up. When you find them, you submit a brutal, unapologetic offer. If the house is listed at $450,000, you offer $360,000. Your real estate agent will probably push back. They will tell you the offer is insulting. Remind your agent that they work for you. Have them write the contract. The speculator is making a mathematical decision. They are looking at another 6 months of mortgage payments, $10,000 in property taxes, and the risk of the market dropping even further. Your lowball offer represents a life raft. They might counter at $380,000, but you have successfully stripped away all of their imaginary equity. You are dictating the terms. Chapter 4, Avoiding the Hidden Traps. Now, getting 20% off the asking price is useless if the house bankrupts you after you move in. The Texas housing market is full of hidden traps, and in our playbook, we do not just avoid these traps, we use them as leverage against the seller. Leverage point 1, the MUD tax. We have talked about this extensively on this channel. If you are buying a home in a newer master plan community, there is a very high probability it sits in a municipal utility district, or MUD. The developer issued municipal bonds to build the water pipes and the roads, and you pay that debt back through your property taxes. In places like Leander, an Austin commuter town, homes sit in multiple overlapping MUDs and emergency services districts. A homeowner that can easily pay an effective property tax rate above 3%. On a $560,000 home, that is $17,000 a year just in taxes. When you find a home you want to buy, you go to the County Appraisal District website and calculate the exact total tax rate. If it has a massive mud tax, you use it as a weapon. You tell the seller, your asking price is $500,000. But with your 3% mud tax, my monthly carrying cost is the equivalent of a $600,000 home in a normal neighborhood. I am dropping my offer by $50,000 to compensate for the developer debt you are trying to pass on to me. Leverage point 2, the insurance nightmare. Texas has some of the most aggressive weather on earth. If you are looking at the Houston suburbs or coastal areas like Galveston, the insurance math is completely broken. Galveston sits in Hurricane Alley. Homeowners there must buy expensive, state-mandated windstorm insurance, TWIA, and separate flood insurance. In parts of Houston, due to the lingering trauma of Hurricane Harvey, standard homeowners insurance has doubled or tripled in recent years. Before you make an offer on a house in these zones, get a hard insurance quote. When it comes back at $6,000 a year instead of the $2,000 you expected, you take that quote to the seller. You say, your home is uninsurable at standard rates. This property is a massive financial liability. Here is an offer for 20% under asking. Take it before the next buyer figures out what the insurance costs. You use the state's flaws to break the seller's pricing power. Chapter 5, The Predator versus Prey Mindset. To execute this playbook, you have to fundamentally change your psychology. The real estate industry is designed to make you feel like prey. They use terms like highest and best offer. They create artificial bidding wars. They stage the homes to look like luxury magazines, and they play soft music in the open houses. They want you to fall in love with the kitchen island so you stop doing the math. A predator does not fall in love with a kitchen island. A predator looks at the numbers, smells the blood in the water, and strikes. Here are the 3 absolute rules of engagement for buying a Texas home in 2026. Rule 1. Never reveal your timeline. If a seller or a builder knows you have to move before the school year starts, or that your lease is up in 30 days, you lose all your leverage. You must project absolute indifference. Tell them you are currently renting month to month, you love your current setup, and you are just looking for a distressed sale opportunity. If they believe you are willing to walk away and wait another year, they will negotiate against themselves. Rule 2. Do not fear the West Texas oil towns, exploit them. If your job requires you to move to a cyclical commodity town like Midland, Odessa, or Pecos, understand that these markets are violent. Pecos is currently projected to see an 11.8 to 12.7% crash in home values. That is not a correction, that is a collapse. Sellers who bought during the peak are desperate. If you have to buy there, wait until the inventory stops rising, and then offer 30% under asking. In an oil bust, the buyer with a secure job and cash is the king of the desert. Rule 3. Always audit the Zillow estimate. We warn you about this every week. Never trust the Zillow estimated monthly payment. Zillow calculates property taxes based on the current owner's assessment. In Texas, if the current owner has a homestead exemption or an over 65 freeze, their taxes might be artificially low. The moment you buy the house, the county reassesses it at your purchase price, and your tax bill explodes. You must manually calculate the county tax rate against your offer price to know your true liability. The Masterclass Outro, Empowerment. This is the 2026 Playbook. Identify the 53% oversupply. Target the panicking corporate builders in the outer rings. Hunt down the failed speculators in places like Taylor and Hutto. Use MUD taxes and insurance premiums as weapons to drive the price down. And never, ever fall in love with a house until the ink is dry on a 20% discount. Texas is still one of the greatest states in the country to live, work, and raise a family. But the era of blindly buying a house and watching it appreciate 15% a year is over. The market has corrected. The easy money is gone. What is left is a highly technical, highly unforgiving housing market where the uneducated buyer gets slaughtered by property taxes and negative equity, and the educated buyer builds generational wealth by picking up the pieces. That is exactly why this channel exists. While the mainstream media and local realtors are trying to sell you the illusion, we are in the trenches tracking the real data. We do not just expose the traps, we teach you how to dismantle them. We turn the prey into the predator. If you want to navigate the Texas housing market safely, if you want to protect your hard-earned equity, and if you want to know the truth before you sign a 30-year mortgage, hit that subscribe button right now. It is completely free, and it is the single most profitable real estate decision you will make this year. Drop a comment down below. Have you walked into a builder's sales office recently and seen the empty inventory? Have you successfully negotiated a massive price cut or a rate buy down? Tell me your story. Share your tactics. I read every single comment, and our community learns from your boots-on-the-ground experience. Thank you for watching our video. Making videos like this requires a lot of effort, research, and we spend days gathering accurate information and data. In return, we have a small request. Please support our channel. Subscribe, like, and share your opinions and thoughts in the comments. You can write any questions you have in the comments. We answer everyone individually. Have a good day. Goodbye.